For this video training, differential reinforcement of an alternative behavior will be modeled. During such an intervention, a reinforcer is given when another more appropriate behavior is used or observed by the individual who is currently involved in an interfering behavior that is problematic. The intervention serves to increase the appropriate behavior while decreasing the original inappropriate behavior. This is Holly. Holly is a high schooler. Holly also has autism. The interfering behavior we're currently concerned about is regarding social communication. As you'll see in this video training, a reinforced new behavior will be implemented. The behavior of concern currently being displayed by Holly is verbal behavior that includes contextually inappropriate tone or inflection. In most cases, Holly will whine or increase her volume and tone rather than appropriately initiating conversation with a peer. Currently, the rate of Holly's interfering behavior is quite high. 93% of the time, it's noted to demonstrate during socialization with peers. The differentially reinforced behavior that we will use for reinforcement and training a new behavior during this procedure will be use of a social script. Here is a sample of one of the social scripts that Holly will have access to use during conversational moments with peers. Prior to implementation of the DRA strategy, it's important that the environment is set up as well as all tools are available for supporting adults and the individual working on a new behavior. Continued use of the voice barometer will ensue. This is a tool that Holly has been pre-taught prior to implementation of the new DRA procedure. So let's give it a try. In the next clip, you will see Holly begin to partake in the interfering behavior of whining and increasing tone. The staff member will come over, prompt Holly to reference the voice barometer, and immediately hand her a verbal conversation script. At this point, Holly has the script and is ready to partake in use of it. With the social script in hand, Holly begins the process of using the social script and getting reinforced not only by the behavior with the peer, but focused praise from the adults around her. In this clip, you can see that Holly has opportunity to sit with her peers and talk. She has the social script with her, and it's getting reinforced by her peers as well as the supporting adults around her. More importantly, reinforcement for the original inappropriate behavior of whining has been put on extinction, and Holly does not receive reinforcement for that. To ensure that the differential reinforcement of alternate behavior is practiced, there will be different opportunities throughout the day for Holly to practice it. Across the day, there will be a total of 6 social exchange opportunities for her to practice this social script opportunity with support of adults and to allow her to gain reinforcement from her peers. Regarding data will be recorded during each of the 2 hours out of the 7-hour day. 1 hour will be during lunch and the other will be during an academic hour. Data will be recorded as a Y on a data sheet whenever the replacement behavior is present, or an N on the data sheet as soon as the replacement behavior is not present. As a reminder, the replacement behavior is use of a social script rather than whining or inappropriate tone. So how long will this plan last? As with any plan, it's important to know when to fade. After the plan has been in place with a successful DRA rate of 70% of success with use of the social script or more for 5 consecutive school days, teachers and practitioners can alter the schedule of reinforcement. Fading supports from the adult as well as prompts specific to use of the social script will be part of the fading procedure. Holly will still be able to use the social script but will not be so intimately supported by an adult near her. Fading will take place by the adults as they will decrease their use of the social script supports and intimate one-on-one support of Holly every other social exchange. This will mean that one of the social exchanges they will be near and they will help Holly with the social script, and the next one they will not. So what do we do if Holly's behavior continues to escalate or she's not interested or behaviorally available to use the social script strategy?
Excuse us, Christine. Come on, Pika.
Bathroom, okay?
Can you
So
go
we
get my
can go.
Piggy Bank? Please.
In the last two clips, you can see Holly's behavior is beginning to escalate and she's not interested or behaviorally available in using the social script strategy. Staff need to use a new strategy to help isolate Holly from the current social situation. The addition of the new strategy with Holly is a successful strategy in that other less invasive, more socially appropriate behavior strategies have been used, but are not effective in situations where her behavior escalates and she's unable to use positive supports. Specific to the data sheet, it's also important to pay attention to how many Y's or N's you're marking on the sheet. If 2 N's are noted in the first 2 opportunities for the hour, that's a good indicator that the next box would be a specific time to implement the TO, timeout exclusionary procedure. An exclusionary timeout will be used with Holly in situations in which her behavior is not receptive to the behavioral support strategies of the social script. This again is a strategy that can be used under the guides that other less restrictive strategies has been used prior to implementation of this procedure. Timeout from an exclusionary standpoint will remove Holly from the social situation and will not allow her to be in the social situation until she takes a certain amount of time away from the stimulus. Prior to removal from the social situation, a warning signal indicating that timeout is imminent will be given when Holly refuses to use the social script or her behavior continues to escalate in an inappropriate manner. Again, the initial behavior of concern was whining and inappropriate tone rather than use of the social script. Holly, your voice is too loud and you're not talking at a level 3. This is red behavior. It is time to leave and take a walk. This is what will be told to Holly when it is time for her to participate in an exclusionary timeout. The adults should mark off the laps for Holly as she walks them. Timeout is finished when the appropriate behavior during timeout has been available, level 3 voice, indication of green, as well as 10 laps are complete and 15 minutes of away time is also complete. When Holly returns back to the social environment, allow her immediate use of the social script. This will allow for reinforcement immediately back in the social environment. Fading of this support, the exclusionary timeout, will take place as the use of timeout is noted to decrease on a weekly basis, and success with reintegration into the social area is noted. Fading use of the timeout from reinforcement procedure will include a decrease in the minutes of the timeout process, subsequently supported with more warnings prior to removal. In addition, removal to a more secluded place within the environment rather than outside of the social environment could be another option in the fading process. So in conclusion, initially the differential reinforcement behavior procedure was issued for Holly to participate in a social exchange with use of a social script. When and if that did not work or behaviors escalated 2 of the 3 times and timeout needed to be used, an exclusionary timeout was implemented. Lastly, across both procedures, data collection needs to ensue and is important to be documented so that baseline data can be reflected upon and growth can also be watched. In the case that behavior escalates, the timeout procedure is used, but fading in the case of both procedures, whether it's differential reinforcement or use of the exclusionary timeout, is always the goal.